Okay, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. I'm gonna edit this out anyway, not a big deal. Tab to the browser. And change over. Associated Press, Atlanta, yesterday. Yesterday is the 25th of August. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is blah, blah, blah. Cancel. 3, 2, 1, go. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dan, and you are on Downrange Trajectory, the YouTube channel. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today is going to be, if all goes well here at home, there will be a couple videos forthcoming. But first, I want to talk about something that I read just yesterday that really, well, I thought it was fucking stupid. So I want to talk about this Associated Press news report. You can read it on apnews.com. It happened on the 25th of August. So to me, recording this, it was yesterday. To the upload, well, you're going to have to hunt it down. And it's out of Atlanta, Georgia. Headline is Police. Mom fires gun found at mall to see if it was real. Police say a boy found a gun in a dressing room at an Atlanta mall, and it fired when the mother pulled the trigger to see if it was real. And this I want to use as an example of how important it is for people to be generally familiar with how to use firearms. I'm not going to bother reading the rest of the article. The headline pretty much says it all. So first, we're going to go into the Canadian Firearms Safety Course Manual, because I do want to talk about rule number 1. If I had prepared this slightly better, I probably have it tabbed out already, but failure on my part. Course objectives. If you haven't taken the course, this is your study manual. There we go. This is what I looked for. I knew it was going to be in the first few pages. Rule number 1 when handling firearms. If you're not familiar with it, the Canadian course has a system called Axe and Prove. Now, what this woman did is when I say rule number 1, I mean literally rule number 1. Rule number 1. Acts and prove. Rule number 1. Vital 4 acts of firearm safety. Your instructor will talk about blah, 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 different things. The vital 4 acts of firearm safety. Assume every firearm is loaded. And this is where the failure happened. Is this woman's son found a gun in a dressing room in the U.S. I'm assuming Georgia has some kind of carry permits. Who knows? Somebody forgot it there, put on a pair of pants, and left it under the bench. Not my problem, not my law. Still important to know. Assume every firearm is loaded. So what she did, he told her, presumably, she goes in, says, oh, hey, look, a gun. We should see if it's safe. Pulls the trigger, bang. The article goes on to talk about how there was minimal damage to the wall, nobody got hurt, presumably a pair of underwear was purchased afterwards. Yeah, that's a poop joke. But I want to use this opportunity to show people the very, very, very general process of what should happen if you are in this same position. Okay, I have over here, okay, we have an H&K .45 caliber HK-45 handgun. This is fresh out of my safe. This is unloaded, but we are going to walk through the process of showing how that's done. Different handguns have different processes. You're going to see, and I'm not an instructor, don't take this as professional instruction. This is a hobbyist, a target shooter, you know, just a gun guy. So don't take that as gospel, but I am going to show you how to check a handgun. Most handguns will have a safety. Some handguns will have a safety. Most all will have some kind of pardon me, of magazine ejection system. You can see that as I pulled it out of the case, I do keep a magazine in it. The magazine is empty. We're going to show that. On HKs, from what I understand, a great chunk of European handguns, they're going to have, they prefer paddle magazine releases. Most American designs have some kind of button that you push. Depending on the model, it could be ambidextrous. With HKs, it is. You'll see, let's see if I can show it here. You'll see there's a paddle here and a paddle here. They're connected in the middle. So we're going to prove that this firearm is safe by following the 4 steps according to the book. So I'm going to take this handgun, I'm going to push my paddle, and that's it. There's your magazine. It happens to be spring loaded in this model. You might have to give it a drop, a tug, and assist it. However, okay, no ammunition. That's part 1. Okay, we have not checked the chamber of the gun. We haven't checked the magazine, just in case something happens. So we're going to follow that step next. Control the muzzle at all times. Well, that's part of what I'm doing. I am trying to keep it downrange that way, but I am also careful not to sweep anything live, including my head, which I happen to be leaning over the table while I demonstrate this. So, next step, what we're going to do, we're going to open the chamber. Handguns, the chamber, okay, that's it. You slide the slide back. Most handguns, all handguns that I'm familiar with, do have a slide lock. That's a lever. Okay, on the HKs, they're wonderfully ambidextrous, so they will have the slide lock on both sides. Apparently, new models of Glocks are having them. Smith & Wesson M&P series has them. There's a handful that do, a handful that don't. Anyway, we're talking about if you find a random handgun in a store. Shouldn't happen in Canada. There's absolutely no legal reason to have this done in Canada, but you never know. If you happen to be watching from the US, this is good guidance as well. So, we have opened the chamber. Now we need to inspect the chamber. Actually, I think this is covered under, yes. Okay, so this is part 2 of the Axe and Proof system according to the handbook. Point the firearm in the safest available direction, that way. Remove all ammunition, which we know there wasn't. We open the magazine, open the slide, observe the chamber. Let's see if I can get the right angle here on the camera. Okay. We're looking down inside the chamber. My flashlight is broken. There we go. I'll use this other one. Okay. We are looking down inside the chamber. And I don't know if it's very clear. Okay. Okay, the chamber is empty. Verify the feeding path. Feeding path comes up the magazine. So all we need to do is look down inside. You're going to look down inside. There is no magazine. There is no ammunition. Feeding path is empty. And examine the bore for instruction. Now, this is a controversial subject for anybody that has had at least with me, with military training or military exposure, basically what this is telling me to do is look down the pointy end. Anybody who, yeah, if you're not cringing right now with the concept of looking down the barrel of a 45, to coin a tune, yeah, I don't agree with it. So what I try and do when I am personally handling my own firearms, I do my best, but I will actually take a peek down the barrel as best I can. In this case, there is enough gap in the back end. You can see where everything's coming together in the back end here. And turn. Okay, and you can kind of see light at the end of the tunnel. Well, it just so happens that from up close, I can peek down around the slide assembly and see that the barrel is not obstructed. I do not agree with looking down the barrel. Some cases, you know what, stick a flashlight. For the course, I did have to swallow my instinct and do it anyway. Do what you think is safe. If you are not familiar with firearms, there's a little better light for us. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't do it. You're not going to be firing it, and that's really what this whole process is about. With the Axe and Proof system, is you're proving it's safe in preparation for firing. If you're finding a gun, randomly pop the magazine, open the chamber, make sure it's empty, call the police, leave it alone. So that's that. So we've now verified that this handgun is completely unloaded. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like using, okay, these are called snap caps to the uneducated. They are practice rounds. They are solid aluminum with no gunpowder, no projectile, no primer. Primer, it happens to be replaced by a piece of rubber and or silicone so that you don't damage the firing pin. I'm going to load 2 snap caps, one into the magazine, both into the magazine, and then I'm going to chamber one of them into the handgun. I just want to echo these cannot, it's impossible. There's nothing explosive which causes projectiles to fly out the end of the barrel. These are completely safe. Okay. Loading the magazine, down and back. That's it. Lock the magazine. So, first off, there's your feeding path. Okay. You can see very clearly with a red snap cap that there is something in the feeding path. Right away, that's one of the indications you're looking for. Now I'm going to release the slide. If this was a live round, this gun is ready to shoot. So we're going to put that down, take a step back, and we're going to assume that we are this woman. So what she has done is she came into the store, brought her son with her. Son finds a gun under the bench. The article said under the bench, and she picked it up, wanted to see if it was loaded, so she fired. Bang. That's what she did. She picked it up, pointed it. I'm hoping she thought about pointing it somewhere safe and pulled the trigger. Now, with the Axe system, I'm going to open that page again because, frankly, this is the most amazing bit of stupidity I have ever heard of. I don't know if the light is going to cause too much trouble with that, so I apologize if it is. Yeah, it might be too much contrast. Anyway, assume every firearm is loaded. She kind of did that, sort of didn't. Control the muzzle. I'm assuming that she did because nobody got shot. Trigger finger must be kept off the trigger until fire. She definitely did that because she had every intention on firing it. And see, the firearm is unloaded comma or dash prove it safe, which we just covered the prove system. Pardon me, we just covered the prove system. Now, move that over there. You should be able to see that relatively well. Now, here's what should have happened. Okay, boy comes in. Hey, there's a gun under the bench, change, whatever, chair, whatever it happened to have been at whatever store. I don't think the article actually said what store. Goes, gets mom. Sure. Personally, I believe that everybody, including young adults, maybe not so much children as much as a healthy respect to go get mom or dad, should be familiar with how to at least check and unload. So, mom comes up. What should have happened right away, hey, look, it's unloaded. Don't touch the fucking trigger. Eject the magazine. Magazine ejects. Inspect the magazine. Hey, look, it's got a round in it. Not expecting people to know how to unload the rounds, nor should you. If this is a legal thing, that could be evidence. If you want to unload the round, you're going to be putting your hands and fingerprints all over it. If you want to know, and I will cover this, you want to know how to unload a round out of a pistol magazine, that's it. Okay, I'm going to put down here. You slide it out. You slide it forward, and that's it. In Canada, magazine limits are limited to 10 rounds. Some magazines natively can hold upwards of 15, possibly more. I can't say I'm an expert on everything, but I know that one of my other handguns that I have here has a native of 12 or 13. So that's the process. Then we're going to follow up with that. We're going to move this over to cover the rest of proving it safe. Okay. I'm flipping the page. I'm cross-referencing to the book just to make sure I'm quoting it properly. I am familiar, I do have my license, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Okay, so point it, safe direction, got it. Remove all ammunition. We open the magazine. Observe the chamber. So here's what I'm talking about with opening the slide. Grab by the top. Mine has grip spots on the front and the back. Hold it back. Slide the slide lock up. Okay, again, slide lock could be on either side. On mine, it's on both. Right away, because there was a round chambered, it was grabbed by the extractor system, which flung it out into my hand. They will eject to the side where the slide is opened up. Maybe in a slightly upward direction. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Maybe if I get a high-speed camera with some great slow-mo. Then you open it up. Observe the chamber. Okay, we observe the chamber. The chamber is empty. There is nothing in it. Look down, verify the feeding path. Okay, you can see the mat through down the magazine path. Okay, see straight through it. There it is. Hey, look. Magazine path. Empty. Examine the bore. Again, I'm going to look down the back end because I can see through. For the camera, you're going to be staring down the barrel of a 45. Okay. Empty. No obstructions. Again, that last step, if you're only making sure that there's nothing going to harm you, if you're going to shoot it, feel free to skip that. It is simply for firing. When you're firing firearm, if you have an obstruction, that can cause some serious damage to the gun and to yourself. It's hazardous. So we have now verified that gun is safe. What she should have done at that point, contact the store, contact the police. I'd probably call the police before the store and make sure nobody touches it. Leave it. Don't do a thing. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to say thank you for tuning in. If you like what you've seen, comment. I'm going to give some shout outs to other places that are near and dear to my heart. First, if you are a firearms owner and you do not belong to a firearms rights organization, join one. These are people that are fighting for your rights as gun owners. Also, there is a number of resources and entertainment that you can find. I like to listen to podcasts, and I do want to promote Slamfire Radio. Is a Canadian podcast, and they cover all sorts of gun topics. So check them out, Slamfire Radio. They're on Facebook. They have a website, podcast, Patreon, etc., etc. Again, thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. More videos coming. I'm probably looking at doing a comparison with the SL8, that is the other video on here, and my AR-15. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dan.